What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm actually going to hopefully be able to move the Lexus in maybe 3 or 4 days. Depends on when the radiator shows up. I'm not going to move it. Terry's going to move it. But he just went and took the drive shaft up and got it completed. He took it up 2 days ago. He took it up 2 days ago and just got it back today. And the drive shaft is right here. So they repaired the end. They basically put the AR5 end on the 2J drive shaft and made it the length that we needed. And so now we're going to bolt it back in, and he got a new condenser, a new radiator, and the drive shaft. We'll get all that put in, then we'll fill up the clutch and bleed it, and fill up all the other fluids, get the power steering filled up. Then we'll probably move it so that we're not in the same area where the car's been sitting for almost a year, just to get it to a different piece of ground. And then we'll jack it up in a new spot and start running the exhaust out the back of it. So this should be a pretty interesting video, and I hope y'all enjoy. All right, guys, so here's the drive shaft. So basically they took the end of the AR5, welded it onto the 2J. This has all been balanced, high-speed balanced at the drive shaft shop. So it should be ready to rock and roll. All we got to do is bolt it in and see what happens. All right, guys, I just got done installing the drive shaft into the car. So I'm gonna do my best to show this. So there's the drive shaft bolted into the transmission, center support bearing, and then bolted to the rear axle. Now we are gonna change out that differential for a limited slip differential. But for right now, I think we go with the subframe that's in here for the exhaust design, and then we switch it out after we get the exhaust done. But that's just me. So we'll see what happens. All right, everybody. So Terry got the Yonaka radiator with the fans and everything, all is in assembly. And we have noticed one thing. So there you go, Yonaka, if it'll focus. But we have noticed one thing, and that's that it hits the hood right about here. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get that to resolve itself. But other than that, it looks like it's a pretty good quality radiator. The welds seem to look pretty good. But I don't know why they've got the radiator neck up that high. It doesn't really make any sense. If they would have lowered it, or if they would have angled it forward, it wouldn't interfere. But he's got a new condenser to put in here. The drive shaft's installed.
None of that, sir.
We got brake fluid so that we can bleed the clutch. We'll be able to fill up the power steering fluid and everything. Now that we've got the radiator, we'll fill up the power steering fluid and coolant and go from there. But we're gonna pull the bumper off and see what we need to do to lower the radiator a little bit to get that radiator cap to not hit the hood. All right, so I'm gonna try my best to show you how this is hitting. So go ahead and lower the hood here, Terry. So it'll go down to the safety catch, but it won't go any lower to actually latch. So the hood still needs to go down about another ½ inch, quarter of an inch. So what we're planning on doing is we're either going to cut the isolators that are underneath the radiator in half, depending on how thick they are, or we're gonna twist the lower support where the radiator isolators are to lower it down, or we may do a combination of both. I don't know yet, but for anybody that's planning on buying this Yonaka radiator with the dual fans and everything, just be aware that it does hit the hood. You're going to have to modify your car to make it to where it doesn't hit the hood. All right, guys, so we are currently doing a gravity bleed on the clutch right now. We have the bleeder line run down here, and then we've got the lid open, letting it gravity bleed. We're gonna let it do that for a little bit, and then we're gonna pressure bleed it. So we'll see how it goes. But once we get that done, We've got the radiator fitting good enough to where we can close the hood. It's still not correct 100%, but at least we can close the hood. So we can go ahead and put the hoses on here. We've already got the lower hose on, but we need to trim it to get it to fit on the radiator correctly. It's still a little too long. We can put clamps on there, put the belt back on here. We can fill the power steering system up with fluid, and get a clamp on this line, and just go ahead and get it to where we can actually start this thing up and let it run for longer than a minute, and actually put it into gear and move it around since we've got the drive shaft in it. Obviously, we still don't need to run it very long because the exhaust is really short and we need to get the exhaust out the back of the car. But we can run it for 5-10 minutes. I don't think it'll cause any problems. And we can drive it around and move it over to a different spot to do the exhaust. So we got the clutch system completely bled. We've got good pressure on the pedal. Everything feels good. So now that we've got that system done, now we're going to focus on the power steering. We still need to replace the seal, the crush washer that goes right here and on the top and bottom of this hose. And we need to install a clamp here, and then we'll fill the power steering system up. Then we'll go ahead and put the belt back on here, and then we will start putting the radiator hoses onto it. All right, Terry, explain to these nice folks what you did to get this radiator fitting.
Hit it with a little hammer on the ball side of it. That way it don't really crease it too much, and just worked all that metal where it just caved in a little bit.
So you went this way and up?
Yeah, pretty much that whole section right there. And I hit it a lot down right here because that's right where the cap sits, so it gives it a little more clearance on the front end.
Okay. And let's show everybody how it closes.
But you're good hitting all right there because it's pretty thick.
Yeah, it's double wall right there, so you're not going to hit anything. There's a pretty good air gap behind it.
Just be cautious while you're hitting and know what's behind it.
All right, let's take the prop rod out and show them how it shuts. So now it shuts really easy. We got a good gap on both sides of the hood. So yeah, one step closer. All right, guys, so now we got the radiator hoses on here. They look pretty good. We had this hose upside down and we did not have to trim it. We just had it upside down. I don't remember what this hose is from, but I said it in one of my other videos, and I said this is a factory IS hose, right?
That's the LS.
Oh, factory LS 400 hose. And then this one was something else. I don't remember, but I said it earlier in one of my other videos. But now we just need to put clamps on here. We still need to put a clamp on here and replace the crush washer here. Once we do that, we're actually ready to start the car and move it around. All right, guys, Terry has got the upper hose, the lower hose. He's installing the air intake now. Power steering's got a clamp on it, and we've got crush washers on the pressure line. So really all we need to do is get the air intake completely installed, fill it up with fluids, and then we're ready to actually start this and move it under its own power. All right, I just wanted to show you what all has been done to the engine in the last couple days. Just doing little nitpick stuff. This got repainted with plastic paint. The top cover got repainted. We took that box apart so that he could repaint that box. Radiator's in and fit correctly. Radiator hoses are in. Power steering's finished getting hooked up. Belt's back on. We still got to fill it with fluid. We still got to hook up the heater hoses. We don't have those hooked up or clamps on them. But that's the only hoses that are left to hook up. Everything else is hooked up. And then we got to do the wiring for the fans, which won't take long at all. But once we get the wiring for the fans in here, we get the heater hoses hooked up, and we finish buttoning up a little bit of stuff in here. Fill up the transmission fluid, because we never put any gear oil in the transmission when we put it back in here. So we got to fill up the gear oil. We've got to fill up the radiator, and we got to fill up the power steering fluid, and then we'll be ready to start the car up and actually move it under its own power. All right, guys, so still out here tinkering with the Lexus, and I wanted to show you something pretty cool that Terry got done yesterday. It was too dark for me to show it last night, so I waited until today so I could get a video of it. But changes the entire appearance of the car. So let me show you what he did. So he went and got some new 19-inch rims. These are Nietzsche. So they're Nietzsche wheels, and they're 235/40/19 for the rear. And they are staggered. The front is a, where is it? I don't know where the hell it is. I might have to go to the other tire. Let me go to the other tire. So the front tire is a 225/35/19. But that definitely set the appearance of the car off. That thing looks freaking amazing. We've got the transmission filled up with fluid. Terry was just now hooking up the heater hose clamps for these two heater hose lines. Now that's hooked up. I think the only stuff that we have left to do is to fill up the power steering system and to fill up the radiator, and then we'll be able to start it and move it. So Terry's got all the fluids filled up in this thing. You want to go crank it, and it's leaking gas. Replace this fuel injector because the fuel injector was leaking. Got it all back together. Now the dang top O-ring on this number, the second one back, I don't know what number cylinder it is. The 1, 2, 3, 4, cylinder 4. It's leaking out of the top, so I think the O-ring on the top got freaking cut because this thing's basically spraying a fan out the top of the freaking fuel rail right on top of the injector. This one's no longer leaking yet. We haven't built up enough pressure to see, but this one's definitely leaking from more than likely a cut O-ring. All right, guys, Terry's putting the last couple bolts back onto the engine after trying to fix the fuel rail. Found that the second fuel injector back from the front on the passenger side had the upper O-ring was just cut right in half. So we put another O-ring on there. He's putting the accelerator cable back on, and then once that's back on, the car should be ready to go. And now I was working on the Veloster dashboard, been working on it for the last week, and I messed up my shoulder at work yesterday, and I worked on the dashboard last night, and then today it hurts. My shoulder hurts so bad that I'm not even working on the dashboard. I may wind up working on it later today, but really haven't done anything at all today because my arm hurting so bad. So I'm debating on whether I'm going to post up what I've already done to the dashboard or if I'll just wait until I get it completely finished, but I'll figure that out. It all depends on how my arm feels. I think I pulled, it really hurts, but I think I pulled a muscle right here, because when I try to pick my left arm up this way, I can't. I can pick it up this way, but I can't pick it up this way. Get a shooting pain all the way down my arm. So I think I pulled a muscle when I was trying to level out a 80,000 pound machine over the last 3 days. So, oh well. I'll just have to recover and wait until that's done, and then I can get back to work. Leaking out of the fuel rail. Still leaking out of that fuel rail.
You see where it was leaking?
That last injector. Alright guys, Terry's getting ready to start the car and try and move it forward. He said he started it a little bit ago and he wasn't doing the clutch right. Couldn't barely try to get it to move forward, so I don't think he's doing the clutch right. This has got a stage 2 clutch in it, so it's pretty much all or nothing. So we're gonna see if he can get it to move this time. Stalled it. She's moving on her own fucking power. This is awesome. If you could see the damn smile on my face right now, I'm sure he's cheesing like a son of a bitch. Well, we found our first issue with it after it moved. The fender liner, or the fender lip right here on the rear passenger side tire is already cutting into the side of the tire in that little trip. So we're gonna have to roll that lip to get it to clear. All right, everybody, that's gonna wrap up the video on the Lexus swap for this week. Really hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm really pleased with the fact that it moved on its own power. I think Terry is too. We've been sitting here discussing it for the last couple of minutes. I think we're both pretty proud of ourselves. But we still have a lot of stuff to do to it, so this is not the final video in the series. We still got to roll the lip on the rear wheel. We got to do the exhaust. We got to switch the rear differential out. We don't have to switch the rear differential out, but we're going to. It has a non-LSD in it right now, and we're going to put an LSD in it. So then we've got other little things here and there that we're going to do. He hasn't decided everything that he's going to do to it as far as suspension and brakes, if he's going to do a body kit on it or any of that stuff. So as those things get determined by him and purchased and whatnot, I'll make amendments to the videos and do updates on the vehicle. But really, my focus is just getting the swap completely done, get the exhaust finished, and get the differential done. Then as he does stuff to it, I'll do updates on the car, but I'm not going to actually, I probably won't be filming all of that stuff, because that's probably going to be stuff that he's doing, unless I assist him with it, and then I'll video it. But thanks for checking out the video. Like always, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, share, subscribe, let your friends see what I'm doing, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'll more than likely have a video uploaded on the Veloster Dash, probably in a day or two, and we'll see how it goes. But thanks for tuning in. Have a great one.